I wish I could talk to someone who's been in my shoes, you know? A black South Asian woman running for president, preferably from the Bay Area. And I'm Kamala. Take my Pamela. The American people want to stop the chaos.
And end the drama
With a cool new stepmamala. Kick back in our pajamas and watch a rom-kamala.
like Legally Blondula.
And start decorating for Christmas. Fa la 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 la. Because what do we always say? Keep Kamala and carry on a la.
Even yesterday, Kamala Harris was apparently on an airplane headed to Michigan. They called her, do you want to be on Saturday Night Live? And they made a U-turn, apparently left a bunch of people stranded waiting for her. I don't know how many people went to a rally anyway. She probably told them Beyonce was going to be there, so they all showed up. And then, you know, did a U-turn and went to Saturday Night Live. By the way, in violation of the law. But my only hope was, I hope she laughed on Saturday Night Live in front of millions of people just heard her laughing for a few minutes, because that's probably worth 2 to 3 million votes right there.
All right, so if you're keeping score at home, Willie, he hates the jury system, right? He hates Saturday Night Live, and he hates Kamala's laugh. One of those things, like the obsession. Like, you know, it's really weird.
Sometimes
there's a guy who, by the way, threw water all over himself when he was running against Donald Trump.
Right.
Some people know how to do it better than others.
Sometimes nicknames stick for a reason, is all I would say. And Donald Trump gave him one in 2016.
Yeah, it's been quite a change, Jonathan Lemire, hasn't it?
Yeah, Senator Rubio, he sort of encapsulates what so many Republicans, the evolution so many Republicans have had with Donald Trump. In 2016, there were moments where he stood up to him. And now he has, other than a few moments on foreign policy, has kowtowed to him each and every time, was even trying to be Secretary of State this time around, and has debased himself, you know, criticizing the jury system, and here on the election eve, attacking Maya Rudolph and Saturday Night Live.
The harshest words, Elise Jordan, that you will ever hear anyone speak of Donald Trump, the harshest words you can get from the mouth of Ted Cruz before he capitulated, Lindsey Graham before he capitulated, Marco Rubio before he capitulated, and of course the guy who called him America's Hitler, his current vice presidential nominee. Again, go back and just find the words these Republicans said about Donald Trump in the past, and the words that those who have worked for him are still saying. It's remarkably bleak.
And Donald Trump can recover from that really quickly as long as they bend the knee. It's amazing. I wonder how much, though, Ted Cruz's past criticism of Trump is going to factor in with those MAGA voters in deep red Texas. He really needs every vote this go around in that Senate race. It's a really strange one. There's so many newly registered voters. I'm watching that really closely.
Yeah. And you know, we're a day away, Rev. We're a day away. I will continue to say nobody knows anything. This race is tied. If it does break the way some people are suggesting that it's breaking, some polls are suggesting the outlines that it may be breaking, actually in predominantly white states for Kamala, the numbers in Iowa are stunning. Right now, the numbers in the Wisconsin crosstabs in the New York Times Siena poll, stunning. Older, white, women, the way they're going. There have been some Kansas polls that show it close. Now, this all may be a mirage. I don't know. But time and time again, what's happened in those states, Texas, a restrictive abortion ban. Iowa, the poll's gotten close since a restrictive abortion ban. This is really crushing the Republican Party. And you've heard people like Ann Coulter for a couple of years saying, come on, figure something out here. You're going to keep losing elections.
No, I think that it is real clear that the abortion ban and the possible threat of a national abortion ban if Trump is president may be what is critical in this election. I'm going to North Carolina today for Get Out the Vote rally, and the ministers there who are basically, I'm talking about black ministers, basically anti-abortion are saying, but we shouldn't have a law against it. It should be up to women to make their own decisions. And I've always been for people having the right to make their own decisions. But when I asked them in the conference calls leading up to the rally today, how have you changed your position? They said, we have daughters, and we have people in our congregation that want to have the right to choose. And I think that we'll see if it's a mirage, but I think that clearly this could be a deciding factor.
This is Trump's legacy, that everybody can see and feel and know someone that they love who potentially could be in this situation right now. Women being sterilized because these abortion bans don't get them the care they need. Horrific, unviable pregnancies being brought to term and traumatizing women. Women begging for life-saving care and not getting it. The
doctor's staring at
even
them.
though they have it. Doctors can't legally.
As lawyers debate.
And women dying. Women dying.
Women
because of
die
these
while lawyers
bans.
debate and doctors stand by. That is what's happening in Texas. That's
Right
what's
now.
happening in other states right now. And again,
And that's
why the Texas race, the Senate race, appears to be as close as it is.
We also have with us editor-in-chief at The Atlantic, Jeffrey Goldberg, and Katie Case is still with us as well, along with the Lees joining the table. Let's get to our top stories and then get to Jeffrey. Voters heard very different messages from the candidates over the final weekend of campaigning, with Donald Trump delivering dark and divisive remarks over several rallies.
Do you want to lose your life savings because we put a weak and foolish woman in the White House? No. Do you want to lose your job and maybe your house and your pension because Kamala has the economic understanding of a child? Never once did she call. Never once did she visit. She visited one time in an area that had nothing to do. You know, she liked it. But essentially, never once did she visit. If she wins, you will live the rest of your life as second-class citizens in your own country. That's what's happening. We had the safest border in the history of our country the day that I left. I shouldn't have left. I mean, honestly, because we did so well. I have a piece of glass over here, and I don't have a piece of glass there. And I have this piece of glass here, but all we have really over here is the fake news, right? And to get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news. And I don't mind that so much, because I don't mind. I don't mind that.
They laugh and they applaud, John, at him saying they'd have to shoot the press, and I don't mind that. And that's
Never understand that.
In 2024, that is a laughing and applause line at a political rally. Just like in 2023, Donald Trump mocking Paul Pelosi for being bludgeoned nearly to death and making jokes about that. And that was applause line. I will ask the question that I think is a fair question to ask. Who raised these people?
Yeah.
Because they were not raised by anybody in my neighborhoods that I grew up, any middle-class neighborhoods that I grew up in. These people were not there. They were not raised. I mean, they weren't in the classes I went to growing up. In elementary or middle or high school or college. They just weren't there. That wasn't the America I grew up in, where people would laugh at the idea of people of press getting shot. Like, everybody would like sit around and like, what's he talking about? Or again,
Laughing at the Puerto Rican
other
joke.
things. Laughing at the Puerto Rican joke.
My God.
That Puerto Ricans are a pile of trash. Are laughing at a 82, 83-year-old man being bludgeoned nearly to death. That's an applause line. That's a laugh line. Again, who are these people? Where are they coming from? And who raised them? And how did Donald Trump twist their point of view so much in 9 years that the brutalization of an 83-year-old man is something to laugh about, or the shooting of press members is an applause line?
Yeah, laughs and cheers when Trump suggested the press should be shot. And my friend, the legendary photographer at the AP, Evan Vucci, who's traveling with the Trump campaign here, says that as each rally goes on, particularly last night in Georgia, the threats from the crowd to the press, they're there in the arena, only growing. They're really concerned there about the security situation. And that's part of the closing argument, Jeffrey Goldberg, that Donald Trump is seemingly making. It is dark, it is dangerous, portends violence. And it's a candidate who yesterday had alternately seemed furious and exhausted, but this is the last message he's leaving with the American voters.
Well, you know, we're talking about someone who admires certain aspects of Hitler's leadership qualities, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about. I've been concerned, obviously, on behalf of my colleagues in the press, more and more in the last couple of weeks. You know, and I was thinking, that's just what we just saw was on Sunday, right? It was over the weekend. As the pressure increases on Donald Trump, as the fear of losing becomes more materialized, he decompensates further. He does not do well, obviously, under pressure. And so God only knows what we're going to be hearing from him tomorrow and then Wednesday and onward, assuming he challenges whatever, if he loses the race, assuming he challenges the results. It's you know, just when you think you've reached ugly, true ugly, it kind of goes deeper.
And he's already talking about conspiracy theories about the election. We knew he would do that. That's going to be a big part of his case, should he lose, of course. But I'll say again, the state, local officials in states across the country are systematically debunking these. I'm thinking about that lie about Haitian immigrants voting repeatedly in the state of Georgia. The Secretary of State, his office, Gabe Sterling, Secretary Raffensperger coming out and saying this is a lie. It's Russian disinformation. Anyone amplifying that now knows this. So they're going to have to be playing whack-a-mole to put down these conspiracy theories. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris spent part of her weekend campaigning in the battleground states of Wisconsin and Michigan. Quite a contrast from what you just saw with Donald Trump.
I see the promise of America in everyone who is here, in all of you, in all of us. We are the promise of America. We are the promise of America. It's the fathers and mothers and grandparents who work hard every day for their children's future, in the women who refuse to accept a future without reproductive freedom, and the men who support them.